Welcome to our channel. Today we have something truly chilling for you. As the rain pours outside, settle in and prepare yourself for 3 real scary stories that will send shivers down your spine. These stories linger long after the lights are out, whispering to you in the shadows. So dim the lights, turn up the volume, and prepare to enter a world where fear reigns supreme.
Our first story takes place in the secluded woods of the Pacific Northwest, a region known for its dense forests and mysterious atmosphere. The towering trees and thick mist create an eerie setting, perfect for tales of the supernatural. It was here that the Peterson family decided to rent a cabin for a summer getaway, hoping to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. The cabin, rustic and charming, seemed like the perfect retreat. However, their excitement quickly turned to unease. From the moment they stepped inside, an unsettling feeling washed over them. The air felt heavy and shadows seemed to dance in the dimly lit rooms. As days passed, strange occurrences began to plague their stay. Objects would move on their own, and the temperature would drop suddenly, sending chills down their spines. Emily's favorite doll, which she always kept by her side, vanished one evening. After a frantic search, they found it on the highest shelf, its eyes staring down at them with an almost accusatory glare. Whispers began to emanate from the walls, soft at first, but growing louder each night. The voices seemed to know their names, calling out to them in the darkness. One particularly stormy night, the whispers reached a crescendo. A sudden gust of wind slammed the cabin door shut, plunging the entire cabin into darkness. The family huddled together, their hearts pounding in fear. When the lights flickered back on, they were met with a terrifying sight. A silhouette of a young girl with glowing eyes stood in the doorway, her presence sending a wave of dread through the room. Emily let out a blood-curdling scream, and in an instant, the figure vanished, leaving the family in a state of shock and confusion. Desperate for answers, Mary delved into the history of the cabin. She spent hours researching, uncovering a tragic past that explained the haunting. She discovered that the spirit of a young girl who had died tragically in the cabin was particularly drawn to children. This revelation sent shivers down her spine, but it also gave her a sense of purpose. Determined to bring peace to the restless spirit, Mary decided to communicate with the ghost. She spoke softly, promising to leave the cabin and never return, hoping to appease the spirit. As she spoke, the oppressive atmosphere seemed to lift slightly. The whispers, once menacing, now sounded almost sorrowful, as if the spirit was finally at peace. The next morning, the Peterson family packed their belongings and left the cabin, their summer getaway cut short by the terrifying events. They drove away, the cabin growing smaller in the rearview mirror. Though they were relieved to leave, they knew the events of that summer would stay with them forever. The haunting memories of the cabin, the whispers, and the ghostly figure would linger in their minds, a chilling reminder of their encounter with the supernatural.
Our next story takes us to Route 66, a highway steeped in history and mystery. Known for its long stretches of desolate road and eerie atmosphere, it has been the backdrop for countless tales of the supernatural. One such tale involves a truck driver named Jack, who encountered a figure that would forever haunt his dreams and alter the course of his life. Jack was a seasoned driver, accustomed to the long, lonely hours on the road. But nothing could have prepared him for the events of that fateful night. It was a stormy night, and Jack strained to see through the downpour. The rain was relentless, hammering against the windshield and making it nearly impossible to see the road ahead. He had been driving for hours, his eyes heavy with fatigue, when his headlights flickered across a lone figure by the side of the road. The sight was so sudden and unexpected that Jack almost didn't believe his eyes. A young woman, drenched and vulnerable, extended her thumb in a desperate plea for help. She was soaked to the bone, her clothes clinging to her like a second skin. Jack hesitated, his mind racing with thoughts of caution and concern. But the sight of the woman, so alone and in need, overrode his better judgment. He pulled over, the truck coming to a slow stop on the wet, slick road. The woman hurried towards the truck, her face hidden in the shadows of a wide-brimmed hat. She moved with an urgency that spoke of fear and desperation. She murmured, "Thank you, kind sir," and slid into the seat beside him. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper, and it sent a chill down Jack's spine. Jack asked where she was headed, and she replied, "The next town." Her answer was vague, but Jack didn't press her for more details. He just wanted to get her to safety. As they drove, Jack's unease grew. The woman was silent, her presence almost ghostly. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Her clothes, though soaked, didn't seem to be dripping water, and her hands were as pale as ice. It was as if she had been caught in the rain for hours, yet there was no sign of water pooling in the truck. Suddenly, she spoke. "Turn left here," pointing to a narrow dirt road. Jack hesitated, but obeyed, his curiosity piqued and his sense of dread growing. The road was rough, and they reached a clearing with an old, dilapidated church. The building stood in stark contrast to the surrounding darkness, its weathered walls and broken windows giving it an air of abandonment and decay. The woman turned to Jack, a faint smile on her lips, and said, "This is it." Her words were final, and Jack felt a shiver run down his spine. As he turned towards her, she vanished. One moment she was there, and the next she was gone, leaving Jack alone in the truck with his racing thoughts and pounding heart. Jack stumbled out of the truck and found a weathered headstone. "Here lies Mary, a soul lost on a stormy night." The inscription was clear, and the date matched the dashboard clock. The realization hit Jack like a ton of bricks. The woman he had picked up was a ghost, a restless spirit seeking closure. Jack realized she had been a ghost. The thought was both terrifying and heartbreaking. He had encountered something beyond the realm of the living, something that defied explanation. From that day forward, Jack never picked up another hitchhiker. The memory of that night was too vivid, too haunting to ignore. The memory of Mary remained with him, a chilling reminder of the encounter. It was a story he would carry with him for the rest of his life, a ghostly tale that would never fade. Whenever he drove along Route 66, he felt watched, knowing Mary was still out there. The road, once a familiar path, now held an air of mystery and fear, searching for her final resting place. Jack often found himself thinking about Mary, wondering if she had found peace, or if she was still wandering the lonely roads, searching for someone to help her. Jack's story serves as a warning. The road is full of mysteries, and not all of them are meant to be solved. Some encounters are best left undisturbed. Some roads are best left untraveled. The unknown can be a dangerous place, filled with spirits and shadows that defy understanding. And some encounters are best left undisturbed. The ghostly hitchhiker remains a haunting memory, a reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. The ghostly hitchhiker remains a haunting memory. Jack's story is a testament to the power of the supernatural, a chilling tale that will continue to be told for generations to come.
Our final tale takes us to Cranbrook Mental Hospital, a place steeped in chilling history. Once a beacon of hope for the mentally ill, it now stands as a decaying monument to the past, shrouded in mystery and ghostly legends. A group of friends, intrigued by the stories, decided to spend a night exploring its decaying halls. They were thrill seekers, always on the lookout for the next adrenaline rush, and Cranbrook seemed like the perfect challenge. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, they stepped through the crumbling archway. The building groaned as if warning them to turn back, but they pressed on, undeterred by the ominous atmosphere. The air grew heavy with the scent of decay, a mix of mold and something far more sinister. Every step they took echoed through the empty halls, amplifying their growing unease. They ventured deeper into the labyrinthine corridors, feeling watched. Shadows seemed to move just out of sight, and the temperature dropped noticeably, sending shivers down their spines. Their flashlights flickered across rusted medical equipment and disturbing murals that depicted scenes of torment and despair. It was as if the walls themselves were trying to tell the tragic stories of the patients who once lived there. In the main common area, a cold draft extinguished their flashlights, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled to relight them, the oppressive silence broken only by their frantic whispers. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the darkness, followed by the sound of heavy footsteps echoing down the hall. The friends froze, their hearts pounding in their chests. They ran, their footsteps echoing in the empty halls, only to come face to face with a ghostly nurse holding a rusty scalpel. Her eyes were hollow, and her presence sent a wave of terror through the group. Emily, the bravest of the group, cried out, "Leave us alone!" Her voice trembled with fear. In an instant, the nurse vanished into thin air, leaving them in stunned silence. They knew they had to leave, but the way out seemed more daunting than ever.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more chilling tales. The world is a strange and mysterious place, filled with shadows and whispers. These stories are a glimpse into the darkness that lurks at the edges of our reality. Stay safe, and remember, sometimes the scariest things happen when you least expect them.